Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks Podcast. I am Mike, that is Sam, and below us is our friend Matt, who runs the Nuggets of Gold 49ers podcast. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell is a 49ers fan doing on this podcast? Well, we brought him on today to have a mostly civil debate over who is kind of the better team. For those of you who don't know, the Seahawks and Niners are like minor rivals. They've had, a couple games here and there, whatever. But we decided to bring them on just to kind of talk about each other's teams and have this little debate. Everybody watching, we really know what the right answer is, but it's just a matter of, convincing Matt to see the light of day. So Matt, really quick, kind of before we get into it, I just got to know, does it scare you at all to see me wearing the jersey of your father?
My father?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Do I think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback? Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't scare me because, these times where I know what you're alluding to. You're alluding to all the victories that he's had against the Niners.
15 of them, to be exact. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
15.
look at the difference in those rosters for
oh my God.
80% of that duration.
Here we go again, bro. So the year you won the Super Bowl, we beat you lost in the Super Bowl. That's
1-1.
Yeah. We lost.
That's what I would expect this season. 1-1.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of allude to, in my opinion, this is the best rivalry in the modern NFL.
I'd agree. In the 2010s forward, I think this is the best rivalry in football.
Maybe when they're both good.
Yeah, when they're both good.
The problem is the Niners haven't been good for a couple of years.
No, that is the problem. Problem. That's why it was so good in 2019.
Well, in 2012, 13, 14. 2012, 13, 19, and then this year, they're really, really good. It's a really good rivalry, 100%.
Yeah, and it has like maybe the most memorable rivalry games of any rivalry. We have the NFC Championship in 2014. We have the overtime game in 2019. We have the less than 1 yard stop. Yeah.
And we have
I think I voodoo cursed Jacob Hollister after that game. I said I was very upset.
And the Russell Wilson his rookie year, the game against the Niners was a really good game also. Like that was the year the Niners went to the Super Bowl. Like that was also a really good game. So in the modern NFL, I'd agree it's probably the best rivalry. But we're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the future and the future of this season. So Matt over here seems to think that the 49ers we actually, spoiler alert, we have a $100 bet going, me and Matt, over who's going to be better this year, the Seahawks or the Niners. So he is putting all his chips on the table for his San Francisco 49ers. So Matt, just really quick, do you want to explain why?
It's nice when all you got to do is get to the second round of the playoffs to make that bet work out.
Wow. Tough. That is tough talk.
Wow. But yeah, I'm all down for that bet. I would have took that bet last year too. Would have lost it last year. Would have took it probably the year before that. So, I'd say we'd be 1-1. I'm sure you would have done the same thing, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm sure that in most seasons we will both probably do the same thing.
Yep. Yeah.
No matter what these rosters, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe if we go back to those Jim Tom Sula Niners, I don't know if I'd do it then.
Not fun. If we go back to the
Chip Kelly.
Oh, God, that was really bad.
Those are my favorite days.
Those are my favorite teams.
Those are mine.
Blaine Gabbert as starting at 49ers quarterback was my favorite.
Yeah.
You mean that incredible quarterback competition of Blaine Gabbert versus Colin Kaepernick? Talking about that one?
Yeah, that was fantastic. CJ Beathard.
Yes, and then CJ Beathard coming in and stealing that job and leading the 49ers to like a 2-14 season.
No, that was when Hoyer was the quarterback.
Was Tom Sula, Kaepernick, and Gabbert, and then when it was Chip Kelly, it was Beathard and
no. Kyle drafted CJ.
Oh, Kyle
drafted him in the first round.
So that was 2019. Okay. My timeline. The 49ers went through 2 seasons where they fired coaches after one season.
2017 was the year they traded for Jimmy halfway through. 2018, he tore his ACL. He didn't play. CJ played most of that year. And then 2019 was when they were really good, right?
But CJ also played in 2017.
Right. He played the first half before Jimmy was, because he was traded at the deadline, right?
Yes. And unfortunately last season as well.
Yes.
And now he's a backup. He's the Jags backup.
They're talking about Jimmy. I thought you were talking about Jimmy. I was like,
and he gets to bask in the offensive knowledge of Brian Schottenheimer, learning from one of the greats.
And who's the other guy from who used to be our O coordinator?
Daryl Bevel.
Daryl Bevel, baby.
Both are top of the top.
And Trent Balk is his GM. So
they're like pooling Seattle talent over there. They're like they just take things.
And they got the GM who used to be the Niners GM, Trent Balk or whatever his name is. Yeah, he's off of his job, so whatever. But Matt, just kind of starting off with your argument. What's your kind of argument that you think the 49ers are going to be better this year?
Okay, so I'll try to be as unbiased as possible.
Okay.
I'll talk about the Niners first, and then I'll get into the Seahawks because I don't think the Seahawks are terrible. I don't think that's the case.
We don't think the Niners are terrible either.
No, I'm not going to come out here and be like, Seahawks. Like I was screwing with you.
Yeah,
I was like
ESPN.
Seahawks aren't going to go 500. Yeah, I'm not going to come out here and say
ESPN
something
has us as 0-9.
ESPN has us going 0-8.
Yeah, like on Good Morning Football, they picked the Lions to beat the Niners week 1. And everyone's like, really, bro? You got to be joking. Are you kidding me?
I feel like both of these teams are like, when the Rams are in here and they made the big splashy move of they got Matt Stafford. I've noticed 49ers and Seahawks disrespect has shot through the roof tenfold after
that's
that.
Probably true.
They're just like,
and I think that the Rams will be good too. But
yeah, we got 3 legit teams in this division.
So,
fuck you, Arizona.
The Cardinals. Yeah, we'll say that.
The Cardinals are kind of a mess. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're overrated. But so what is your argument? Let's get to that.
So let's just look at this offense first.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back on the 2019 49ers, they're one of the top offenses in the league, both scoring, yards, especially rushing, of course. They were second that year to the Ravens, and they were a great rushing team, super efficient rushing team. A lot of that, Jimmy had a pretty solid year, 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 picks, I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a good year. That's a solid year.
He was good that year. Yeah,
especially on a team that's so run heavy, right?
Right.
So you look at the team then. You look at the team this year. Every piece of the offense now is better than that 2019 offense. Because if you want to look back at running back, Breida started out as like the main guy. Breida is like almost out of the league now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not out of the league, but like he's not like.
I think he's in Buffalo. I think he's in Buffalo right now.
He's like not really even in a committee.
No.
So you got Raheem, who was the number 1 there. You just draft Trey Sermon, who's looked really good. JaMychal Hasty is an undrafted guy that has really flashed and ended up beating out Wayne Gallman for a roster spot. And then you have Elijah Mitchell, who they drafted this year in the 6th round. I like him a lot, but I don't think he's even going to get to play that much this year. But that 1-2 punch of Raheem and Trey Sermon is better than anything they had in 2019.
I agree.
The other guy that they were rocking out with Raheem was Tevin Coleman, who was his best days were behind him at that point.
And didn't you guys have McKinnon also, who did like nothing?
No, not that year. That was last
not that year. McKinnon had I remember they signed McKinnon, and I remember each year I would wake up in the morning and I'd look at reports and it was like McKinnon tore his Achilles again. He tore it again. That's what I was thinking. Turns out that it didn't really matter much, but
No, they never really used him. Yeah, it was more sad for him. I mean, it was it pretty much derailed his career. 3 injuries in a row or whatever it was. It really sucked.
Yeah.
So you look at that, then you look at the wide receivers. Debo was the best wide receiver on the roster for half of the 2019 roster until they traded for Emmanuel Sanders. Brandon Ayuk is miles better than Emmanuel Sanders was, I think, in 2019. Then you have Trent Sherfield, who actually came from Arizona, kind of just a forgotten piece. He's going to be a pretty solid number 3. At tight end, I guess tight end's a wash, so you're not improving there, but you have George Kittle.
Yeah, it's George Kittle, yeah.
I mean, it's George Kittle.
Same thing with fullback, but I would put that in the running back group with Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, Juszczyk is kind of just a gadget. He's an all-around player.
Offensive line is so much better. One, they didn't have Trent Williams in 2019. They had him last year. Mike McGlinchey last year did not look good, but he was playing 20 pounds underweight. That's a huge deal if you're a tackle, and you could see he was getting bullied.
Yeah.
So he's way bigger, way back in size. And if he went back to his first 2 years, how he played in the NFL, they're going to be totally fine at the right side. And then they also add Alex Mack, and center was probably the biggest revolving door ever. And Alex Mack, though he is pretty old, has been one of the most dependable centers in the league for 12 years.
And he has a history with Shanahan too. Yeah.
Yes, he knows the offense really well. And
right.
and on that offensive line, you can say the tackle spot, but since you have Kittle and Juszczyk leading the way, I'd probably say that the center spot is the most important for this Niners team. Like even more than Trent Williams being on the left side, just because what they can do and what they've been lacking too, especially. So that's huge. And I don't think he's going to be some great player, but like if he's like they were getting horrible center play because of a bunch of injuries, and then you'd have like these guys that are far down the depth chart filling in. So their offense, even if it's Jimmy, even if that's also the biggest issue that they've had in the Shanahan era is that Jimmy's got hurt. Jimmy gets hurt this year. They're going to have a much better piece than Nick Mullins, who's already been cut like 3 times this offseason.
Yeah, when you're cut by the Eagles. Yeah, no,
dude, he threw like one. He went 1 for 4 with 2 picks in his first preseason outing. He's terrible.
Oh my god.
So the quarterback room, and also just so you guys, I mean, I'm wearing a Trey Lance jersey. I absolutely love Trey Lance. He was that's one of the guys I'm highest on. So
Trey Lance, low key, if we're being honest, low key scares the fuck out of me, just because I know what his ceiling is so high, and I know if he is going to be a competent NFL quarterback, it will be with Shanahan, and he'll squeeze every ounce of just greatness out of him. So like Trey low-key scares the shit out of me. Do I think that this year will be his ceiling? No. I don't think that he will be a monster this year because I think A, he won't play for some period of time, and B, he's a rookie. Like, let's be honest, this is not going to be his best year in the league. Going off your offense, yes, I do think your offense is capable of being as good as it was in 2019, although I do have my reservations about Jimmy. I think that's a big, red flag right there. But, running backs, the offensive line, the wide receivers are definitely better. And obviously you still have Kyle Shanahan, which is good. So I don't
Can I add one thing real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
I expect Trey Lance to take over partway through the year.
I was about to ask, like, realistically, if you had to put a week.
That's interesting because my thought process, I don't really follow the 49ers that much. When I see a report, I'll look into it because they're rivals and all that. But my thought process is that even if you guys are contending with Jimmy, and let's say by midseason you're 6-2 or whatever, would you guys? Is there like a high chance that Jimmy would still be benched, or is it? Or
I think so.
You think it's like a Tua situation last year where like the Dolphins were good with Fitz, and they're like, all right, week 8's our bye week, week 9 Tua starting, even though the Dolphins were like 6-2 or whatever. You think that's kind of what the Niners would do?
Yes, I think that if they think that Lance is ready, they're going to start him.
Yeah. So
and that can also be a Jimmy comes out in the first half and throws 2 picks, and they toss in Lance, and then they just run the football down someone's throat.
That's what the Bears do with Andy Dalton. Anyway, so obviously Trey Lance provides a dynamicism. Is that the right word?
Yeah, dynamicism. Yeah,
I think I said it right. Yeah. So okay, I will give you the fact that the offense can be scary as shit. I will give you that. Mm-hmm. My thing with our offense is I think we were better and we have gotten better. Here's what I mean. Last year, Russell Wilson threw 40 touchdown passes, 13 picks. Obviously, we all know the first 8 weeks he was the MVP of the league. I won't say he fell off, but he wasn't MVP level great the last 6-7 weeks, right? So the main problem with our offense is we became very predictable. We could literally, DK Metcalf was quoted to say this, we could not beat cover 2. Very simple coverage we just couldn't beat. When they would drop their safeties, it took away our deep game. We had nothing to do. So what we did was we invested in a new offensive coordinator, or we fired Shoddy. We hired Shane Waldron, who I absolutely am in love with. I have a love affair with Shane Waldron. He's from, the McVay system. And Matt, me and you have talked. We all think McVay's a genius. So just a guy to learn under McVay is amazing.
You mean the Kyle system?
Sure. Whatever system you want to call it.
Comes from Shanahan's system.
Whatever system. Well,
you know that, right?
Shanahan, yeah, I know, but true. Shanahan's an offensive genius, so maybe we have Shanahan. Whatever. We improved our offensive line. Gabe Jackson is massive pickup on offensive line. Center, I think, is still a concern. I think the rest of the offensive line is fine. We added a tight end that can catch the football now, Gerald Everett, which is really good. I loved him on the Rams. Yeah, thank God. And I don't know. We added a guy at wide receiver 3 who ran a 4.38 40-yard dash and was literally a 3-time state-winning track athlete to be our wide receiver 3. I am foaming at the mouth just thinking of the moon balls that Russ Wilson is going to throw D. Eskridge. So, and additionally, we have Chris Carson healthy, Rashad Penny. Maybe we'll have Rashad Penny. Hey,
question mark.
Did he tear his Achilles?
No. When he got hurt, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, it was a knee. Yeah. So I mean, Rashad Penny has the last 3 years we've had him. He's had 1 game a year where he's been awesome. We're just looking for the other 16 to be, match up with that. But I really do think this offense is going to be insanely good, and I don't see a lot of teams stopping us. I think, the Seahawks offense is going to be top 4 or 5 in the NFL, realistically. And so I do agree that your offense is going to be good. I think the Seahawks offense is going to be better. I think they have better players. They have an actual offense.
They're going to score at a higher rate. But the Niners offense, part of the Niners offense is not to run up the score.
True.
It's to win games 20-3. It's to have those wins.
True.
That's where they just suffocate defenses. Where it's just, okay, we're gonna get 3 a clip on you. We're just gonna run it down your throat over and over and over.
True.
And so it's a lot different for what they're trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in a situation where your defense isn't playing great, I think if we're playing in a game where both defenses aren't playing great, I think the Seahawks have the advantage because they're able to put those points on the board, more frequently.
I mean, not like I was saying, in 2019 with a offense that is not even close in comparison to this offense. And I do think Lance is going to take over also. I think that's going to be a boost to the offense as well. This offense is way better.
Yeah.
Can the Seahawks offense be better? Yeah, sure. But I don't think it's going to be miles better either way. If the Niners is better, it's going to be by a small margin.
Right. Yeah. Right. I don't think the Niners are going to have a bad offense, and I know you don't think the Seahawks are going to have a bad offense. So
no, I do think they're going to have a bad defense.
That's where we're getting into. So before you kind of
maybe not bad, but not a good defense.
Before you kind of give your whole spiel on the Niners defense, let me kind of dive in here and talk about the Seahawks defense. I think the Seahawks defense, unbiasedly, and as much as I can say unbiasedly while wearing the jersey of the team I'm talking about, I think unbiasedly the Seahawks have one of the most underrated defense in the NFL. You look at the last half of the season, the Seahawks were a top 5 defense in the NFL. The last half of the season, the Seahawks led the NFL in sacks. This was for a couple of reasons. Number 1, Jamal Adams became healthier. Number 2, we traded for a guy by the name of Carlos Dunlap, who we got back for this season. Carlos Dunlap had a massive impact on our defense. We got the only real loss I would say we have was Shaq Griffin at corner, which sucks because I don't think our corners are good. I just don't think our corners are good. But our defensive line, I think, is good. We're getting Darrell Taylor, who is absolutely – I am in love with Darrell Taylor. He didn't play last year because of injury. Carlos Dunlap's back. We got your boy, Kerry Hyder, who led your team in sacks last year. Thanks for that, by the way. Ford.
Just so you know, I wanted to let him walk. I swear to God, I wanted to let him walk.
I will take a guy who gets 8 sacks a year. I will absolutely.
He doesn't get 8 sacks a year.
Well, he got 8 sacks last year. Maybe he's
got 8 sacks in 2 years. Both with the Niners D-line coach, Chris Kosrick.
It's kind of ironic because the 49ers and the Seahawks virtually it's like the talent pool. It's like we have a line, like a pipe that connects from Seattle to San Francisco that just funnels each other's talent back and forth.
Richard Sherman started it, and then it just became just every year. It's like
Robert Saleh came right from the PNW. And I mean, DJ Reed came to us. And then, I mean, I'm sure there's several others.
Akello.
I mean, Akello, we know how that played out.
For a short period of time.
Yeah, for a very limited margin.
Yeah. Preseason goat.
Preseason
goat. Yeah.
Not even the preseason goat.
He was terrible. Dude, Nathan Peterman was dotting his ass up in the first preseason. Me and Sam were like, "Oh my God, he is so bad."
Yeah, we got pretty worried there. But I would say that the main key to this Seahawks defense, honestly, I feel like with our offense having the potential that it has, which is best offense in the NFL, scoring points wise, and maybe even potentially yards wise, I would also argue that the Seahawks defense only needs to be like
average,
average for us to be a playoff team, high wild card seed, maybe even sneaking in and winning the division, which is by far the hardest division to win in football. So I do like this defense for what it could bring, but I also hate this defense for what it could lack. And that's the main thing. Mike, you obviously said the corners are not great.
No,
they're not great.
I can't even like put a creative spin around it and say, well, no, they're bad.
Yeah, like DJ Reed.
We're gonna need Cindy Jones to turn into like prime Darrelle Revis, like realistically.
See, that's the problem with the Seahawks to me. Like that's exactly the issue. And it's not that I don't think they're gonna be a playoff team. Now, I'll say this: maybe they don't make the playoffs, but they are like always gonna be in the mix. Like I'm not saying that they're not. I think they're gonna be a playoff team, but I'm saying they could be like one of those teams where it's like, oh, they lost a tiebreaker. You know, they had 10 wins. Like that happens every single year. It happens all the time.
Especially with the division being so good. Yeah.
I think I guess 10 wins isn't as much anymore. So you'd be like
being a playoff team, being a wild card in the NFC West is pretty friggin' good. You'd win the division in most other divisions. Yeah. So I also think the Niners. Okay, really quick, Matt. Who do you think wins the division?
I think the Rams win the division.
I think the Rams win the division.
I think either the Rams or the Seahawks win the division. I think the 49ers make it as a wild card. I think they're like the 5th or 6th seed.
I think the Rams, what the Seahawks and the 49ers are missing, the Rams have it. And
it's just Aaron. More. Just say Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, I definitely think the Niners can compete for it. I think there's a chance, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Rams.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is a damn good quarterback. He's incredibly underrated. I don't know why everyone just is like, oh yeah, they adding Stafford over Goff.
Yeah,
that's the biggest upgrade. That's like for any team.
That's like going from like a soccer mom minivan to like a Bugatti. It's like the upgrade they got.
Yeah, it was pretty. I think Stafford he's a
demon.
Pretty good quarterback. I wouldn't say a great quarterback.
I think I have him at 10.
He's definitely in the range of 10, like 13 to 10 range, which with that defense is good enough to win you.
Oh yeah, no, their defense is going to be
13 games.
I think we can both agree the Rams defense is going to be better than either one of our defenses this year.
I mean,
well, they lost. Okay, potentially they could be the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
But also potentially they lost a lot of guys.
True.
They did.
True.
If Jalen or Aaron Donald were to go down, they would be hurting a little bit, so they might struggle actually.
And I also think not only did they lose guys, they lost Brandon Staley, which is what I wanted to bring up with you, Matt. Talking about, I know I haven't given you a chance to talk about your defense yet, but another reason that I think maybe your defense is not going to be as good is because of Robert Saleh. So I'll kind of let you take the floor there.
I'll say, I don't think losing Robert Saleh is going to be a big factor. I don't think this defense will be as good as the 2019 defense.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty clear reason they don't have DeForest Buckner anymore.
True.
That's
thank
why.
God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Like for real. Thank the Lord. Christ.
We don't need bro Aaron Donald and Buckner.
We don't need Aaron Donald, DeForest Buckner, and Chandler Jones. Twice a year.
Nick Bosa.
And Nick Bosa.
Yeah, 6 times a year now.
Yeah, that would.
And JJ Watt now.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about JJ Watt.
JJ Watt. Okay, the problem is he isn't healthy. Okay, that's off topic though.
Yeah,
That's saved for another video. But I mean, I think Saleh's a big loss from what I've heard. You promoted D'Amico Ryans. Am I?
Yes.
I remember D'Amico Ryans. Used to be a linebacker for Texas. Yep.
Yeah, D'Amico actually was even like talking. I don't know if he interviewed. I think he interviewed for some defensive coordinator jobs, like other teams' defensive coordinator jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I want to say it was something like that, or he had been talking about him like the year before. It's something weird, but it was pretty clear that he was always going to be the guy. Like as this year kind of started, and you saw that the Niners were struggling. I mean, they were super hurt on like all over, but like their defense was. I mean, their defense was still one of the top ranked defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was because of, Fred Warner.
Right.
And a lot of people, felt that Robert Saleh was a huge part of that. I do think he's a good coach, but I think DeMeco is also going to be really, really good. So I actually think that there's a chance that DeMeco's even a little bit better. And I've thought about this. I've said this before Robert Saleh was hired for the Jets. Like, I do think that. Just the way that he gets talked about and the way that he's elevated their linebacking core. Because they have, like Reuben Foster is like the guy they pick, they spent an early pick on. Yeah. He was really good. It wasn't that it was like, oh, Reuben's can't play. Like, that was never the issue.
He just had like domestic issues or whatever or something like that.
He would get hurt and then he would get like an off the field issue or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have Dre Greenlaw, who's a 5th round pick, fantastic player, fantastic will linebacker. That's a 5th round pick. Like, you're not spending capital on that, and you're developing a guy who was like converting from safety, and he did it, and he started pretty early on. Fred Warner is probably the only player I can say I've ever watched, and truly this guy throughout my whole time watching him, which has been 3 years now, I think, maybe 4. Every single game, he has got better. It feels like. Like he's progressively amazing. Better and better player as he plays. It's ridiculous.
The thing that I think really stands out to me about the Niners is, teams. I probably am guilty of this also, is just hyping up. Oh, Darrell Taylor. Oh, this guy, whatever. We hype up all of our other players. Unbiasedly, you guys have 2 superstars on defense, Bosa and Warner. They're scary. Those guys are scary. Nick Bosa, obviously. I don't know. I mean, you probably know more about this than I do, but I'm sure he's, fully recovered from his ACL, I believe.
All of his workout numbers are like way up.
Oh,
I don't know how that happens, but apparently that's the case.
Yeah. Might want to drug test him immediately.
I would say that there's a little bit of suspicious activity that's going on with
drug
this
test him before the Seahawks game, please. No, but I mean, Nick Bosa is really, really, really freaking good, and Fred Warner is really, really freaking good. I'm not going to say that he's better than Bobby Wagner because I truly just don't believe that.
I mean, career-wise, Bobby's had a better career.
I'm saying right now,
but right now, honestly, I think pound for pound, if you were to look at each skill set, I think with a blank face, you would take Fred Warner. Like if it's just the skill set.
It depends what you're asking them to do.
Yeah,
Bobby can do a little more,
and they're used
Bobby is maybe the best run-stuffing middle linebacker in the game. Fred Warner might be the best coverage linebacker in the game. So I can see that. It's very interesting. I mean, I think for a modern NFL, you're probably like, oh, this guy can cover. I want the guy who can cover. But I feel like for our defense, Bobby brings so much value. Just the same thing with Fred Warner. They're the 2 best linebackers in football.
Get out of here with this Levante David shit.
No,
I don't know where.
I think Eric Kendricks is in that conversation too, and he was banged up.
Eric Kendricks is very good. Eric Kendricks.
He's a little bit older now, so it's kind of like people are starting to phase him out. Yeah, and it's not on him that his defense and just team falls apart every year.
Yeah, no,
he's not the issue.
I don't understand why people have the Vikings making the playoffs, but. So continue what I was saying, you guys have difference makers and we have difference makers also. That's why to me, it's such an interesting, conversation. But I do think, the Niners defense is going to be good. I anticipate if they stay healthy, which I hope they do. I never hope I'm not, Evan Hill. I don't wish injuries upon people. I hope the Niners stay healthy. I just hope we can block. Nick Bosa. I hope you guys stay healthy.
Sorry. Brandon Shell will manhandle.
Brandon Shell pancakes all day. Yes.
Please. Just Brandon Shell will own Nick Bosa. I can't wait.
Can't wait to see us. But on the real Brandon Shell, don't fuck up, bro. Seriously. It's like that play, Sam, that happened to Gino against Stone Forsets and Nick Bosa coming out there.
Yeah, Nick Bosa just cleaning Russ's clock off the blind side.
Our left tackle in the first preseason game totally missed a blitzing safety or something and just smacked Gino.
Gave Gino a concussion.
Yeah, I was like, bro, if that happens to Russ, I'm gonna cry. So let's hope not. But okay, so we've established, the Seahawks are gonna have a good offense. The Niners are gonna have a good offense. I think we both made a pretty good argument. Last thing that I'll say, Matt, what do you anticipate the record of the Niners being, and then what do you think the Seahawks record is going to be?
I mean, this is all. The problem is like if there's injuries, you have to change.
Assuming
assuming it's just the roster. Yeah, that's on paper now.
I'd say probably 17 games. Probably guess that the Niners win 11 or 12, and the Seahawks win 10 or 11.
I think they're both in the same win range of maxed out at like 13. And then realistically, the bottoming out for both of these teams when they're healthy is both probably 9 wins. And that's at like the extremes of what could happen, whether, Russ has a down year, God forbid.
Yeah, please,
Lord.
That's the last of the things we need. I personally think that the ceiling for both of these teams is a Super Bowl championship. I think both of these teams are capable of winning the Super Bowl at their best. If everything falls their way, if Trey Lance is amazing, if the defense is back to what it used to be, if your offensive line holds up, if you guys stay healthy, you guys can win the Super Bowl. If the Seahawks' new offense is amazing, if the defense plays like it did in the second half of the year, if we stay healthy, we can win the Super Bowl. I think both these teams are capable of doing that. I'm not saying that either of these teams are my Super Bowl pick, but I'm saying they're capable of it. I think for the Seahawks, their sweet spot is between 11 and 14 wins. Again, 14 is kind of pushing it, and 11 is on the softer side. I think 12 is probably the number. If I had to bet, I'd say 12 wins. For the Niners, I think their sweet spot is like 10 to 13 wins. I would also say like 11. So again, 12 wins versus 11 wins. Both these teams are going to be really good in my opinion. The issue with the 49ers, though, is, again, I don't hope this happens, but health has been a big concern. And if a couple of your key guys go out, you guys have fallen off the rails when your key guys go out. So
that's okay. That's not entirely true. We've fallen apart when the quarterback has gone out, and Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard has been the guy at the helm.
True.
Because their defense was fine last year when Bosa was out. Was it perfect? No. Were they going to make a deep playoff or like a Super Bowl run without Bosa? No.
Yeah.
But they could have had a playoff capable defense.
Right.
And they did. I mean, their defense played well.
I get what you're saying. Trey Lance is obviously way better than Beathard or Mullins or whatever, but he's a rookie, and you just don't know.
But Trey Lance with one leg is better than those
True.
guys, I feel
True. Yeah, Trey Lance is one leg.
Trey Lance has looked amazing.
Okay, Matt.
I just want you guys to know that.
Question for you.
And I had Trey Lance as my quarterback too coming out. And
I know.
You have no idea how excited I am.
Just really quick, me and Sam, whenever we fucking just decide to roast a player for no reason, we always just pick Jermaine Ifedi. He's just our guy that we just fucking roast. Do you have a guy is that guy like Nick Mullins for you? We're just like, man, fuck Nick, like randomly in an episode, you're like, fuck Nick Mullins, man.
No, there's that one dude, Kyle Williams. He's the dude. You know who that is?
Oh yeah. I remember
the dude that muffed 2 punts in the NFC Championship game.
Oh yeah.
No apparent reason.
So you just like, man, fuck Kyle Williams.
Didn't even need to touch the ball. He could have just been on the sideline.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh
they needed 1 first down from Frank Gore. That's all they needed. 3 carries, 1 first down from Frank. That's about as automatic as it gets, dude. And then this dude muffs 2 punts. So yeah, he will always be Kyle Williams.
Oh, well, I think that's going to conclude it for us. Kyle Williams and Jermaine Ifedi, we hate you collectively. Actually, no, me and Sam love Kyle Williams. We wish that he would be re-signed immediately, but this was kind of our 49ers versus Seahawks fan debate. Matt, appreciate you coming on and mostly not talking shit. I know you had to throw little haymakers in there every once in a while, but we appreciate it. We look forward to the season, and I look forward to beating the 49ers twice again this year. See you guys later.